Welcome to Spirit on the Spectrum. I'm Rachel. I'm so glad you're here. In this video, I'm going to mostly discuss the nature of our reality, who we are, um, kind of like why we're here. But this is going to be a three-part mini series, I guess, about. I'm also going to touch on manifesting too, but it's going to be a three-part series about the nature of our reality, manifesting, and how a lot of the new age beliefs and I think some of the big people leading that are actually causing more harm than good. But in this one, I'm going to talk mostly about the nature of our reality and the fact that we are essentially at the base of it multi-dimensional light beings, and we are just living in this is a simulation at the core of it. That's what this is. It's a very important simulation. We care about it deeply, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about in the last couple of weeks, I received as downloads, and that's a newer ability for me. I've always been clairaudient, but receiving downloads, and the term for it is claircognizance, clear knowing. And maybe some of you get downloads like that. But for me, I would get them occasionally, but it's become like a normal part of my ability now. And for me, it's hard to translate knowing to words. So I really worked with my guides a lot, and with a lot of the stuff I'm going to discuss in these next videos about how to explain it in a way. But I mean, like I said, it's hard to explain stuff that I feel like we don't have words for. Like our science has not caught up with. I don't. I mean, I'm sure it will in years to come, but it's not caught up with what we are and the nature of our reality, and how to really explain it. But I did my best. I'm a biological scientist. That's what I went to college for. And so I really had to do some digging into like physics and quantum physics to try to get a grasp on it. But, and again, I did my best. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the science part of it, trying to explain it. Cause like I am a scientist. I always want to like understand everything, especially if I just like all of a sudden know and understand everything, but I don't have the words for it. So I tried to find the words as best as I could. But, and like, everything is connected. So I have touched on some of the stuff I'm going to talk about in past videos, and I'm sure I'll talk about it in future videos, especially as I like we're growing as beings, like all of us, and I'm going to understand stuff more and more as time goes on. So every time I like understand the topic better, I will do a new video on it and explain it again. But okay, so I will start with so basically this is a simulation. And again, the terminology, I'm doing my best. The best way to describe it is it's a simulation created with love. Love is creation. It is everything. I am love. You are love. The air we breathe is love. My computer is love. Everything is made of love. And to us, it seems physical because we're in the simulation. But, like I've talked to my guides and they view it differently. Like they view it as energy. And, so we are multi-dimensional beings living in the simulation, but it's only one fragment of ourselves, which is where the higher self comes into play. So our higher self is this multi-dimensional being, and we have allowed one fragment of ourself to be incarnated into the bodies we're in now. So it's not our whole self, and that's how you can, I believe that's the root of how you get downloads, you communicate with your guides, is the more and more you can connect with your higher multidimensional self. It like opens up the gateway and allows that frequency to connect. But so basically, love is synonymous with energy, frequency, source or God, awareness, creation, It's all the same thing. So we are love, we are energy, we are frequency, we are God. We are all part of God. And I'll talk more about that later, about how religion has veered off of what it was supposed to be doing, and why I think everything got twisted. But so if everything is energy, frequency, awareness, creation, love, we are frequency, and our environment around us is frequency. And in our multidimensional higher state on the other side, when we're not in bodies, we can only experience the highest frequencies, joy, compassion, happiness, kindness, all under that umbrella of love. But on Earth, there's lower frequencies that exist, like hate, anger, jealousy, shame, guilt, embarrassment, all of those lower frequencies. And I feel like it's by design, but also a byproduct of creating the simulation, because we are pinched off from our higher selves. We're pinched off from that pure creation of, that source, that love. And so here, those lower energies can thrive because we forget who we are, right? Like, it's like, as beings on earth who have forgotten who we are, we created all of these lower energy emotions. But that's also why we come here, because we can't experience that at home. So we want to, that's how our souls, that's how we grow and learn and, like, develop. It helps us there by learning these things here. It's a school, like Earth's a simulation. It's a school, and we learn from it. And we have our soul growth. Like, we want to grow as individual souls, but we are all one. We are all connected. So everything we learn here helps the species of light beings that we are, because we're all connected. We're all one. So it's like us incarnating here helps our soul growth, but it helps the whole of our light being species grow as well. Because, I've talked to my guides, we're individual beings there, but at the same time, we're also all connected and all one. And it's hard to grasp that here, because we're all so disconnected here. We're not telepathic, and we can't just communicate with knowing like we do on the other side. So that's hard to grasp, but we are individual and we are one. And that truth remains here. We just forget, and that's the whole point of us. We're trying to help Earth ascend. And if you're watching this, you're very likely a light worker, and you are finding this because you have a calling inside of you. You want, deep inside you're supposed to be helping. You came here for a reason, and you're part of Earth's ascension. And it's very important to us. We came here to help Earth ascend. And at the basic principle of helping Earth ascend is getting rid of the lower frequencies, the negative frequencies, and, you know, ushering like a peace on Earth to make it mirror our home. We want, that's winning. And, like, I hate to call this a game, because I feel like that makes it seem light, like it makes it not seem as serious, because we deeply care about it. Like, we really care about Earth and it ascending. And there have been other Earths and we have failed. So we want this one to succeed. We really care. And so there's a seriousness to it, in that we really care, but at the same time we also put too much pressure, and we also take it too seriously, because at the end of the day there is no death. When we die here, we go home. We can come back again. We can try again. There are other schools. Earth is not the only place you can incarnate. So it's like we care deeply, and we want it to succeed, and we 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 hope it does, and that's why we're all here, and we care about life. You know, it matters to us. But if we don't, it's still going to be okay. You know, like it's still going to be okay. It's not the end of our existence. We will just return home, and we'll learn from our experiences and help the collective. But so, and I think too, a lot of what I'm trying to explain is like, as humans, we live in a linear reality. Like here, it seems linear to us, and it's like we think of like cause and effect, and like, oh, like we can only really think like one thing at a time. Like, but my guides like to say that we're like the ultimate multitaskers there. Like we can do so many things at once. And we're trying to like I'm trying to explain concepts that were created by beings, us, who can think like that, who can multitask all these things at once, and understand the facts truly that everything is connected and everything is one and everything is the same but different at the same time. So it's really hard to like grasp these things. But and then so a big thing is like, so we are the creators, we are God, all of us together are God. We created the simulation, we created all of them together. And I think religion really veered because you know with religions, it's like there's a higher power that you're supposed to worship, but we are the higher power, all of us together. And this is going to sound crazy, but I've had communications with my guides. I have communicated with Jesus because I was afraid to at first, but I did, and I sucked it up and I did it. And uh, he explained it like, imagine trying to look at your brothers and sisters, his friends at home, and explain these concepts to a very barbaric humanity. We didn't have technology, we didn't have science. And so he had to be creative and explain things the best way he could. So he knew, and he was connected. He was way more connected, I think, to home than I am now. So he could see that his words were going to be misconstrued, but he also could see that it was the way he described it was the best way to get people on the right track thousands of years from then to where we are in this moment, right? So I guess I just wanted to touch on that because that's an interesting to think about. Like, I'm having a hard time explaining this with the knowledge that I have 2,000 years later. Like, of course it was misconstrued and twisted, and he had to explain it in the way he did, or it would have come off as too crazy. Like, no, it wouldn't have stuck. He did the best he could with what he had. And but religion needs to catch up. Like, it's just very, very, very off course. But it's important to know that we are the creators. We do not worship anyone. There's God is all of us. We are all God. We are all source. And looking inward and like worshiping yourself is how you help everyone around you. I mean, that's how you do it. And so I went down to I was trying to understand this from a scientific point of view. So I went down a physics route and I started studying quantum physics. And the best, but like this, a synonym for the simulation would be like a quantum field, the quantum field. Everything is the quantum field. And I think quantum physics is going to be how we truly explain all this. We're just very at the beginning of it. But so the simulation, the universe, everything that's physical matter around us is the quantum field. And then when I came across the term of quantum coherence, it was like a lightning bolt hit me. And that explains how we are co creating while we're here. We're co creating from our higher self. We're how our guides and our angels are part of the field and helping us. It's like it's all connected. And so the definition of quantum coherence is basically it's the ability of quantum particles to exist in superposition in multiple states simultaneously, maintaining a fixed phase relationship which allows for interference. And it sounds complicated, but it's basically like, and of course, as I was like reading the definition of this, my guides were shouting at me, as above, so below, as above, so below. And like, then all of a sudden I got like this vision of like a blown up scale of it. And so like we're the quantum particles and the quantum field is our environment. And coherence is what allows manifesting the interchange of energy, of frequency. And that's where I think the new age beliefs get manifesting wrong, because we are always manifesting. We're always co-creating. Manifesting isn't just uh you you're hoping and you're thinking and you're keeping a positive mindset so you can have your best life. No, you're always manifesting. The frequency you are holding now is what's creating your reality. The key to manifesting is to raise your frequency, to raise your vibration so that your environment will match you. Like that is what manifesting your best life is, because we're all, like I said, we're always manifesting. And so like the higher your frequency within, the higher the frequency without. And the more you can maintain the highest frequency possible, which is love, your true state, then you will be in your ultimate timeline. And my guides explain how when we plan our lives before we come here, like I said, we're multi-dimensional beings capable of grasping concepts we cannot understand here. And I get glimpses of this and it's very confusing to me. But basically we see when we're planning endless timelines, right? Like endless timelines. And there's one timeline that we want, right? Like that's the ultimate timeline. And we are all capable of achieving and getting on that ultimate timeline. But there's so many. There's so many. And so that's what your guides and your angels and the people who are helping you, they're trying to keep you on track to get you to that closest possible timeline. And if you don't succeed, it's fine, right? Like it's not the end of the world, but that's what we want. But like I download visions of it, and it's like, God, I don't even know how the way we experience our real life, like life on the other side, is so different than here. Because it's like I get images of like is nothing like it is here. Like, I don't know. It's like I said, we can see multiple timelines of the life we're planning at one time. Like, that's crazy. I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't even know how to explain that. But so in a past video, and that video is still very valid, and you can go and watch it. And it was my guides were explaining to me, I kept having bad luck, and this cycle was repeating over and over again. And my guides were teaching us all, when that's happening, when you have cycles repeating in your life, you just need to try to bring awareness to it. And if you can bring awareness to it, you can shift your mindset, grow, realize that's happening, and grow from it. Like overcome it. But I think at the time I didn't realize that I was co-creating that, right? Because I was in a frequency of anxiety, and like I was having problems talking to other people because I am autistic. I don't do well talking to people. And I was in that frequency, so my environment was matching me, and I was co-creating it. And again, everything I said in that video is 100% accurate, bringing awareness to it, stopping the pattern. But I didn't realize that I was doing it, that I was creating that. It's just like fascinating that we truly are like creating our lives here. Like we don't even realize it by the frequency we hold. So the key is truly the key to manifesting is how high of a frequency, manifesting your ultimate timeline, how high of a frequency can you hold? And the highest frequency, which is your true state, is love. And in part two, I will go more in depth on that about different things you can do. And there are a lot of things at play here, right? It's not just about, okay, we're in ultimate control. We can co create our reality by our highest frequency. You have the fact that you had a soul contract before you came here. There were things you wanted to do, a light, like a light, ultimate life plan. So you're still having to play in the confines of, like the contract and the life you had planned. So in your soul contract, if you were never going to become a millionaire, you're not going to become a millionaire. Like, and you need to ask yourself, because if you can look within, you will find, you will figure out what the timeline is for you, right? It took me a while, but I did, like, and you have to let go of, if you want the things for the wrong reasons, right, then it's not your timeline. You have to really figure out what resonates with you, figure out what your true self is and what your best life really looks like, and then along the way of trying to figure that out, you need to try to clear out negative frequencies. You have to clear them out from you, and you that it's hard work, right? Like another that's a thing that new age beliefs get wrong. That like miracles are around the corner, and it's like I feel like a lot of it is like skipping to the end, right? It's like skipping to the end and they're missing the 20 steps that you have to do to get to the end. Because awakening is hard work, right? The path to enlightenment is hard. I'm just keeping it real. That's the way it is. I'm not going to be someone who lies, and you know, I think everything will be fine, like, but if you're on this path, it's hard. It's hard. Like there's no really way to sugarcoat it. It's challenging. And I think if anyone tells you different, they're not actually connected or they're not telling you the truth. But everything is going to be okay, like I said, we don't die, like, and if we don't achieve our ultimate timeline, it's fine. We will still have learned things, but obviously our desire is to achieve our ultimate timeline, and I'm here to help explain all of this, hopefully, and help you get there. And again, it's not, if you're thinking about manifesting, you're not manifesting. You have to feel it and you have to resonate and you have to get to a frequency within you. Like I said, because we are energy, we are frequency, and you have to vibrate at the frequency you want the field to match. And I will explain that more in my next video, my part 2. But yeah, so just ask yourself what your ultimate timeline is. Try to figure it out. Sometimes you're going to have to make big moves. Like I ran an online business for 7 years and I realized it was causing me harm. I realized it was taking up 12 plus hours of my day. I thought it was the right thing to do, but I realize now that it wasn't. And that was one of the clearest downloads I ever got, was that I needed to move away from that. And I'm in transition from that. And sometimes it's irrational, right? Like to me, when I told my family I was just going to be closing my business and I want to help people, like I just want to help people awaken, they thought I was nuts. But I know, I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing. Why would I have these abilities if it wasn't what I was supposed to be doing? And obviously I can communicate with the other side. I know, like they're telling me. I want to say I'm like blessed and fortunate, but I also know that I did the work to get here. like years and years of work, and it is my soul contract. It is my life plan. I you know if you everyone can access the Akashic records and find out too. I will do a video about that. But I mean, when you communicate with your guides, that is the Akashic records. The Akashic records is just the other side. It's everything. I think also that term might be confused a lot, but I mean, you have all these resources that you can ask your guides, and maybe you can't hear them yet, or maybe you won't ever. Maybe your communication will be different, but they will get answers to you. You just have to be open to it. It might be in synchronicities, nudges, like I said, the knowing. Like if you're in a job you hate, a clear knowing that you need to move away from that. Like your communication might be different, but they are there and they want to help you get your ultimate timeline, and your higher self wants to help you get there, and the quantum field wants to help you get there. So, you know, you have so much help. You're so loved and you have so much help. And it's like I can see that it's like it could be no other way, like because of who we are and the way everything is. So I will end this with asking my guides if they want to share anything. I always end every video that way. Rachel is very connected and you can trust what she says. She does not realize how connected she actually is. And all of you can connect in the same way. We told her her viewers were her soul tribe. That is true. If you are watching this, you are walking the same path as her. You are a community. You are meant to help each other. And you love each other dearly. Rachel is a resource, but you have all the tools you need within you. Please do not forget that. She is she is a nudge. She is a nudge for you. You are capable of everything she is capable of. We are here with her to help you. Please reach out with questions. She is she is a conduit for us to reach more. She signed up for this. She is wise beyond her years, and we are a team working together to help all of you. Sorry, I wasn't expecting that. Please remember, all is well, all will always be well. And we are a team of love, all of us, including you. That is all we had to share. Okay, well, of course, my video cut out right at the end, but I just wanted to end by saying thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And like I said, I'm going to do a part 2 that is mostly discussing manifesting and tips. And like I said, just going more in depth on that. And then I will do a part 3 that talks about, like ties everything together, but talks about, like the new age beliefs and how they can be causing harm, and to learn how to use discernment on what feels right to you, what doesn't feel right. Um, and my guides use the terminology to be weary of false prophets, and I believe from communicating with them that they're talking about people who are pushing wishful thinking, enlightenment by without doing the work. And then on the opposite side, people who make you feel like they have something that you need in order to do this, because you, like I said, and my guide said, you have everything you need. You don't, like they said, I'm just a nudge. I'm just here to remind people, to help people. um, I'm like like I discussed, I am committing to this, and I very much struggle with capitalism, right? And I don't like money. I live a very simple life. I only make what I need. I'm a single mom. I have to feed my daughter, take care of myself, pay rent, pay bills, but I don't believe in excess. Like, if I have excess, I donate it. Um, like, I'll take one really cheap trip a year. That's who I am. I know that's who I am. That's what I resonate with. I only want what I need. But I had a really hard time, like, committing to making a YouTube channel and videos, and, like, making that my source of income, because I don't want my help to be paid for. Like, there's something that always, maybe it's just me being connected to my higher self and not liking capitalism, wanting Earth to be done with that. But my guides have explained to me that I have to make a living. I can't be homeless. If I'm homeless, I'm not helping anyone. So I hope people will understand. I hope you will understand if, like, I do ads or whatever, if I get enough subscribers, because unfortunately I have to make money. Like I said, I don't like it, but hopefully you guys understand. And I guess if people are interested, you can email me. I'll put my email. I was thinking, like, I could charge, like, like a scale of whatever you can afford, and do like readings, like where you email me like 3 or 4 questions, and then I can ask my guides, and I'll record like it live, like my answer live, like asking them. But I need your full name to do that, because that's just my method, because our full name here is our full name is how you access your Akashic record. Like, it's a vibration. Your full name is a vibration coded to you living here. So I need that in order to get the best answers possible. I mean, they will know who you are, but I think it just strengthens the connection when I'm asking questions about other people. But if you're interested in that, I'm happy to do that. Um, like if it's their personal questions. For like questions for the group, just put in the comments, and like, I'll respond to them. Or I can do like a video. If people ask, I can just do a video answering people's like general questions. But I don't want to put like people's personal business like in a video. I just, and like, I could do tailored to you. But in my soul contract, and just from my communication, I know I'm not a fortune teller. I don't even want to know my future. So when I asked they have told me my future, I think, when I was like begging for answers, but they don't like to. They're not supposed to. I can feel that. I feel like it was in my soul contract that I didn't want to know the future. But so if you ask me a question like what will happen in the future, they will more like explain guidance on how to get to where you want. Like, what can you do, to get you there. And like, like in relationships, they'll, like, if when will I get married? Like future questions like that, they will more like give guidance on how to get to where you want to get. And then I mean, I've talked to people who have passed, so I imagine that I could ask questions about that. Like ask them if you have someone on the other side who's passed, I could probably ask them to connect me with them to answer questions. That's new for me though. I've only talked to people who like I know have passed or like celebrities, like stuff like that. So that would be new for me. I would need to get better at that, I think. But yeah. So if you're interested, email me. Um, I'll have my email in the description. But please like and subscribe and comment, and I just want to get this out to everyone who is part of our soul tribe and needs the help. But thank you so much for watching. I'm so grateful, and I have so much gratitude for people who are sticking with me and watching these videos, and I hope that I'm helping.